So this project was to replace the Facnor LS-200 furler. Really just replace the furling drum. And I got a good rigger, his name was Frank, came out to the boat, helped me take this apart and get it off, put it together with a new one, and I'll walk up and kind of step you through what we did to do that. So to begin with this replacement of the furling drum, we need to do a couple things to secure the mast, because it's going to involve loosening the shrouds, both starboard and port shrouds, and letting the mast come forward. And we had to put some tension on the forward without tension on the forestay. So what we came up with is we used the same lines that I had set up before, and we came pretty close to the center of the where the forestay goes. Wrapped this halyard, the spinnaker halyard, which is in a little better shape than the other halyard, but wrapped it around the crossbeam and then loaded that up with some tension. So once we got that some tension on this piece, then we came out. I should say, before we did all this, we made sure all the bolts would come loose. But for this turnbuckle, we've got some lock nuts here, locking bolts that fit right in, and those we took off so we could start to loosen this turnbuckle. So we loosened this. We had taped it up with black tape, and so we knew where it was to begin with. But we took the two bolts out and started loosening these turnbuckles a little bit until we had a little swag in the buckle. And we also wrapped the jib halyard, the one that's over there, we wrapped it around, kind of looped it around the whole shaft of the furler to help keep it straight in line so it wouldn't swag down and put weight on it. So we tensioned it up, we got it loose. After a little while, we got all these bolts out. So Frank took the pin off. Took this pin and cotter pin out. Once we got that off, then the forestay was basically separated from the boat, and we could then work on it a little bit easier. So once we got this part back, we took off the furling drum as one piece. So we unscrewed these 4 bolts up here. Also took the one bolt that locks the foil end off. We lifted the foil out, and if you remember from the last video, it had a little black piece. Made sure to tape that up to the foil so it didn't twist and the bearings fall out. So we got this piece lifted up. We basically just left the whole drum intact, slid it off the forestay, just slid it down. And then we were able to go take it back to the back and take the pieces on this bracket, unscrew these 2 bolts on each side. There's some little plastic sleeves behind this bolt to keep it separated on the metal. And we did that stuff back at the back of the boat. Put this all new bolts in on the drum here. Brought it back out. We had to do a little finicking around with the tension on the shrouds and on the forestay just a little bit to get this turnbuckle back down low enough to get the bolt and get the pin in. But just a little adjustment on one side. We loosened up the port turnbuckle just a few more turns, and this all came right into place nicely. So we got it all put back together, and now you can see we have a spinning furler. And this was the whole project, was to get this sucker to spin. Now that that's all done, I'm going to get some new line and replace that old line that's there. I said put about 26, 27 wraps, turns on this. It's a good starting point. And I'll just measure out that line and get a full, nice new replacement line. Basically a knot goes into this run the line. I think it comes around this side, goes through here, put a knot on this end of it so it can spin through. But then we'll be ready to put the sail back up. And before I put the sail up, since last time I had loosened this, actually removed these 3 and let the full shroud come down one spot. So it's about 4 or 5 inches lower than it was before. So we'll have to take these 3 out, and I'm going to raise this up one more position so that these 2 are sitting about here. And I think the one that's inside and right about here is the one that I stripped, and I'll have to drill out to get it get a new one in its place. Hopefully that's not too difficult. Once we get that in place, we'll be able to put the sail back in and run it back up the mast and get it all furled up. Another thing we noticed while we were doing this project is that this trampoline is about shot. You took one step onto it and got up here to the front, and you can see where his foot popped those 4 pieces. I had already popped one piece, so I knew it was a little fragile, and we popped a few more. Just the line is rotting. So I'm trying to be careful, spread my weight out a little bit so I don't fall in the water. That would have been not a very good thing. So we're gonna have to measure this, get online, see where we can get a good deal on a new trampoline. Maybe get a nice, nicer, more comfortable than the line. Maybe get something that's more along the lines of the net. Maybe with the UV covering on it like that. Well, I thought I'd try to get the jib back up on the boat, and it's about 6:30 in the morning. I figured this would be the least breezy, a little bit of breeze, but maybe a light sprinkle and a little bit cooler out. So we'll see how this goes. Got to put one zip tie on the bottom and tighten up the bottom little bolt, but then I'm going to roll it back out and furl it in a little bit tighter. So the sacrificial blue stripe covers the whole sail. That's the UV protection. Alright, well, I thought I'd show the finished product. The whole furler is back in place. The new furling drum. And I'll come down and show you the new drum. Turns just that easy. That was nice, furled up nice. I've got the jib back on. After the hurricane, it's all hooked up. Jib sheets are rerun. And we got plenty of furling line. Almost, yeah, that's perfect. So come back here and take a look at this. Furling line goes all the way back to the back of the boat. It's cleated, and we got a good bit of extra line. All back in place and before the sun really comes up. Jib and furler project has been completed. Thanks for watching.